So what's going on in Peru? A little while ago, we heard that there were aliens attacking people in Peru, cutting their necks, terrorizing the locals, and then the story just kind of faded away. A narrative was planted that there were miners wearing jetpacks trying to scare off the locals like some sort of Scooby-Doo caper. And then shortly after that, the story just kind of died, right? Very mysteriously after that obviously fake story. So what's going on? Well, the locals are stepping up and they are demanding that the authorities do something about the situation. And they are saying the authorities are actually misrepresenting what is going on because they have never even been there. So let's talk about it. Get in here. This is Jack with Cosmic Road. I talk about UFOs and the paranormal. Please hit like, please subscribe, share on social media, and let me know what you think in the comments below. Okay, let's just get into it. Just to remind you, if you've forgotten about what was going on in Peru, the political leadership of San Pedro, Ivan Pema, I'm sorry, I know I'm butchering that name. I'm just going to call him Pema, came to the Laredo government headquarters at the end of July to ask for help. Here he tells a little about the beings that are attacking the community. And I will read it to you. Have you arrested any of them? Have you shot them? Have you done something? Have you tried to capture it? But you can't because they are armored people. We shoot one, but we didn't do nothing to it. Around the community, they tried to capture it, but they seem to fly to the space again. Yeah, it is kind of hard to capture anybody that can just jump in a UFO, right? And that seems to be what has been going on in the rural province in Peru where this has been occurring. But then the powers that be stepped in and tried to spread the story that it was miners and rockets. Miners with jetpacks, wearing masks or something, like in a Scooby-Doo caper. But the people of the area aren't having it. Ronnie Vernet says, I'm in contact with the Iquito people at San Antonio de Pintuyaca. Sorry, guys. And they asked to share this video showing a protest against prosecutor Carlos Quintanilla, who never went there, but said it was only illegal miners using jetpacks. That's right. The guy, the local authority that is spreading this disinformation, likely at the behest of the control group or, some agency of the control group. That's right. The local authority that is spreading disinformation about what is really happening in Peru, claiming that it's all miners and jetpacks. Well, he is being called out by the locals. They are not happy with the situation. Well, this very good afternoon. First of all, I would like to thank each of you here only to deny, said the prosecutor to the media, that the native community of San Antonio, they said this prosecutor has come here in the community and we as a community deny it. Because that prosecutor did not come to the community. Who arrived here was the police, only to record testimonies about what happened at that event that afternoon, which happened with the lady. But others, let's say the prosecutor, have not come here. No public prosecutor has come to the community. But we strongly ask the authorities, to the prosecution, to intervene in the situation that we are going through. So they are still going through it. This is an ongoing situation, apparently. So, so they can see themselves and verify what's happening with us here at the community. And also they could bring their implements to be able to fly over our community at night. Yeah, right? I mean, if there's beings, even if there are miners in jetpacks flying around harassing people, well, why aren't the local authorities flying their helicopters or whatever they have available to go and chase off these miners in jetpacks, right? Great point. Because some community members are asking for help from an NGO here, but they can only support during the day. I don't know very well. They know there is no issues over the community. And yeah, the translation here is not great. The problems happen at night. And for that, I asked them to come visit our community, bring journalists so they can share better information. Absolutely. Thanks a lot. Yeah, so there you go. The local people affected by this crisis are demanding or asking the local authorities to actually do something about it instead of lying about it. Imagine that, right? Well, who's lying about it? Well, it's probably the UFO control group, right? There have been reports apparently of black helicopters in the area, and that was right around the time that the jetpack story was first floated. Now, many of you might remember the Lance Corporal Wagon story, which happened in Peru. There was a UFO crash in 1997 in Peru, and Lance Corporal Wagon and his team were sent out to secure the crash, not knowing it was a UFO. He actually went into the UFO and interacted with a being there. Then the Air Force showed up, or some people showed up, seemingly the Air Force, although it's possible it could have been some other agency, and they took him to the local operations base of the UFO control group because it was actually the Air Force's purview to secure a UFO crash. And they weren't happy about him going inside the UFO itself, and they threatened him. They hung him out of a helicopter. But he was able to see some of what they were up to at this local hub, and he saw that it was a multinational effort, and he came away with the impression that the UFO control group was funding themselves in part through running things like guns and drugs, which is backed up by the news story from the Stephen Greer witness, Michael Herrera, who saw something similar going on in Indonesia. The operatives of the control group apparently were running guns and maybe even human trafficking with a UFO. Crazy story. So there's 2 points of corroboration that the UFO control group might be using the black market in part to fund themselves, although we have learned through David Grush that they are also funding themselves through misappropriating funds from Congress. Congress will give money to these big contractors, but it'll really go to the UFO control group because, of course, they are very powerful and very pervasive. Their tentacles go all over Washington, D.C. Why am I talking about Lance Corporal Wagon in the Peru case? Well, because we need to know this is not an isolated event. What is going on with the people in San Antonio? That is but one of a long series of incidents that have happened in that region. And of course, many of you will have seen the James Fox movie Moment of Contact about the Virginia, Brazil incident where a UFO crashed or was shot down and some beings emerged from that ship and were wandering around the town before being caught by local authorities, and both ended up tragically dying. Not before they inadvertently led to the death of one of the people that apprehended them. Just one more example of what has been going down in that area. And we can't forget Maes Brazil, a really strange and disturbing case where people in Brazil were actually being physically harmed by beams of light from UFOs, from the beings. Operation Saucer was an investigation into a terrifying series of reported incidents in 1977 where residents in the Brazilian city of Colares claimed that they not only witnessed flying saucers, but they were also being attacked by them. Bright objects of differing shapes, sizes, and colors were said to have been flying at low altitudes, just a few meters above the tops of the trees, and firing light beams at people on the ground below. Several witnesses claimed to have seen beings piloting the crafts, describing them as no more than 3 to 4 feet tall. What separates these sightings from the usual glimpses of UFOs in the skies are the numerous and recurring injuries that people suffered. And I'm not going to go through the whole case, but like I said, it's highly corroborated, first of all, but it's also very disturbing in a similar way to the ongoing San Antonio, Peru cases. In the San Antonio cases, people are being harmed, or they're being grabbed, and there's actually physical injuries. There are different physical injuries in the case of of Colares, Brazil. People were actually being stricken with anemia. It seemed like something was being taken from them, something from their blood was being taken from them by these beams. The beams gave off intense beams of radiation that caused puncture marks and lesions, with some reporting to local media at the time that it felt like heavy weight pushed against their chest. A report into the claims made by the victim stated the beams were about 7 or 8 centimeters in diameter and white in color. It had never hunted for them but hit them suddenly. When they tried to scream, no sound would come out, but their eyes remained open. The beam felt hot, almost as hot as a cigarette burn. And then, of course, there's the UFO battle over Maes Brazil. I made a full video on that. If you're curious, go watch it. It's a crazy story. There is one human death, and there are multiple non-human deaths with the men in black. Well, first of all, they shot down these two UFOs. And then they executed the beings that they recovered, and then they hunted down and presumably executed the ones that fled. And those beings looked more or less human. They were described as being very tall, about the size of a basketball player. We don't know any further details about those beings. Were they Nordics? Were they some other race? The tall whites? Who knows? It's a crazy case, very fascinating and disturbing in its implications, especially about how humans may be caught in some sort of cosmic battle. And have we chosen the right side? That's why UFO disclosure is so important. We need transparency on what the hell these guys are doing. They're shooting down UFOs, guys. We don't know if they're shooting at the right people or right non-people. This is nuts, and maybe it's no laughing matter. We could be caught in some sort of alien war. The UFO control group could be allied with some race or subgroup of beings or faction of beings that don't have our best interest at heart, and we could have been manipulated into firing on beings that may even be positively disposed to us, or at least neutral. So, this is important. UFO transparency is important, if for no other reason than that. We may be caught in a cosmic battle, and the Maes Brazil case is a great example of that. But getting back to Peru and what's going on there, it's nuts, and it seems to be ongoing. The Nerd Report has a really great episode they did recently of there was some flooding that happened in that area some months back. And there was a crazy creature that was caught on camera. Let's check it out. Let's check out this crazy critter. There it is right here. See it in motion. There's some flooding, and it may or may not be trying to climb up to some safer ground. Look at that thing. What is that thing? You can see it almost looks like it has bat wings or something, but it's all slimy and weird. What the hell is that? What in the world? See that thing? What in the world is that thing? Is that... because we've seen several examples of potential aliens caught on video by the people of Peru because of these ongoing encounters. Is this one more example of that? Are there crazy alien critters running around being flooded out in Peru because of the crazy activity that is occurring there? What do you think this thing is? Let's take a look. One more look at this thing. Look at that crazy thing. You can see there's a long limb there, and there's another long limb there. What in the world? Anyway, guys, there's some crazy stuff going on in Peru. The people of the San Antonio area are still being affected by these series of incidents, and they are requesting the local authorities actually step up and do something about it instead of lying about it. I don't know, guys. I don't know what's happening there. I would love to know your thoughts. So let me know in the comments below what you think is going on in Peru. And if you've enjoyed this video or gotten something out of it, give me a big thumbs up. I sure would appreciate it. Smash the subscribe button and the bell to be notified of future videos. You don't miss a thing. Join me on social media. There's Facebook and Twitter links below. I would love to see you guys there. If you wanted to support Cosmic Road in a bigger way, consider leaving a PayPal donation in a link below, or become a channel member, because channel members are rock stars. I love you guys. Thank you so much for your support. Meanwhile, there's plenty of other videos on the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. This is Jack with Cosmic Road, signing out.